I'm uncovering the shades tonight as I introduce my guest, Nilesh Sane, who is the founder of WingmanX. You love riding. Right now, on Candid with Karl, we're going to take you for a ride. Let's hit the throttle as we give vent to your new app, WingmanX.
Hi, Karl. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and well, it's great being here.
Fantastic. So, little more, Nilesh, about what exactly is WingmanX.
So, I've always been passionate about biking, and when I started biking myself, what I figured out is that there is a real need for an ecosystem, an app that would actually facilitate bikers who want to go on bikes and the people who wanted to join group rides. So I thought, hey, why not actually use your own expertise that you built over the last couple of years and build something that not only fixes my problem, but also fixes the problem of the biking community. And that's how WingmanX came in the picture.
So WingmanX is an app.
Yes.
How, or is there any personal experience that you can draw on from how this app came into being?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny how it came to be. So every Saturday evening, my routine used to be that I'm calling up people and asking them, hey, you want to come on a ride on a Sunday? And Kritika, my wife, used to always find me doing it. And she said, hey, why don't you actually fix this by building something where you are not calling up people, but people are actually joining this app themselves. So I said, okay, let me give it a shot. And fortunately, I've got a very good development team working with me in the company. And when it comes to bike, everyone gets excited.
Absolutely.
So I thought like, okay, let's do it this way. Let's make an app. And I made this app to fix my problems.
Oh, I see.
And so, it started off that way. And now what it is with over 10,000 plus downloads, it's actually going the way I had never imagined it would go.
So when you say you developed it and, this is for biking enthusiasts, it definitely doesn't, you're not taking them for a ride.
I am going for a ride on the app myself. So, yeah.
No, it's fascinating, Nilesh, because, you're such a biking enthusiast. And I think logically, if I know you for so many years, logically, if I go back in time, biking and superbikes was logically your next step.
Yes.
So, in what way does this app, or how would this app be different from other such apps?
One of the reasons that I developed this app, as I said, is that when I started to find an app out there that did what WingmanX does, I couldn't find an app. So I thought like, hey, that's the starting point. So there was no app that did what WingmanX is doing now. And one of the most important things that WingmanX differentiates itself from others, and it's still work in progress, is going out on a ride with verifiable riders. And of course, we put in a lot of safety components in the app.
Right.
So I think apart from discovering rides, discovering new routes, meeting new friends, finding people, the important bit out here is that you would be going out with verified riders. You would be going out with an app that actually you can use it as an SOS, God forbid, if you ever need to. So apart from just the fun part of it, we are also trying to build a community which is a little bit more secure than what you usually have.
Oh, super. So this app is for all biking enthusiasts?
Absolutely. So I think I just want to make this very clear. So it is right from the person who rides the 50cc or somebody who rides the 1600cc. We do not distinguish.
So you don't necessarily need to be the owner of a superbike,
or you don't have to be an owner of the superbike. You could even own a moped.
Oh, I see.
As long as you've got the wanderlust in you, as long as you want to go out there and explore things, WingmanX is the app for you.
Let's come to a fundamental question. What is the genesis of the idea and the brand name behind WingmanX?
Interesting question. So we did spend a lot of time in brainstorming what should be the name of the app. And if you see, the name has two elements to it, Wingman and X. And Wingman is something that is someone who would always be looking out for you.
Correct.
So that's the reason why
I remember the famous thing between Iceman and Maverick in Top Gun.
So he was
you can be my wingman anytime.
Absolutely. So that's very true for this. So I wanted the riders to know that we've got their back.
Right.
So that's how the Wingman.
So the X actually is you're taking care of some.
Yeah. So
riders back.
Yeah. So X stands for anybody.
Right.
So I am not a wingman for a selected person.
Correct.
The X could be any rider, anyone who's out there, who's exploring, who's riding. So the X basically, it's like a mathematical X. It's like a variable can be replaced by you or anybody else.
And X marks the spot.
And X marks the spot.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what are the safety features that this app incorporates?
So the important safety feature that the app has got is that we've come up with a feature called SOS, where God forbid if something happens to you on a ride, you can press that button, right? Okay, and immediately your location, okay, and what has happened to you, go to riders who are on the ride. It will also go to admins who are not on the ride but are sitting home, right? And would be able to respond. So riders who are on the ride, definitely those are the people who will be able to provide you with a very quick response.
Right.
But also people who are not with you but back home or in their offices, even they'll be alerted.
So this will kind of act like a safety GPS.
Yeah, it is like a safety GPS. And apart from that, we would be investing a lot of time and effort into having verified riders on this app. So, it's basically the app itself in terms of the technology would be giving you certain tools that you can use in terms of an incident, but it will also make sure that the people whom you're going out with would be verified. The beauty of the app is that it's an app which is made by bikers and for bikers.
Yeah.
So what happens is when we take these features to the people, to the riders, we get a lot of feedback about, hey, why don't you introduce this? Why don't you introduce that? So we are very open to incorporating these new things into the app.
Let's take you back in time to when I first knew you, the IT profession. Please shed some light on that part of your life.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, Karl. It's been a journey that has spanned, it's been 25 years now that I've been in IT, and it's been a great journey so far. I've seen the technology change from what I started off and to AI that is happening now.
Correct.
And I've been fortunate to be a part of this journey. However, the first thing I did when I got my real paycheck is bought a bike called the CBZ, which was launched in 99.
Okay.
And it was basically, I was punching above my weight. And
was it Hero Honda?
It was the Hero Honda CBZ, and I still have it actually. I made a reel of it the other day around, and I just made people hear the firing and say, can you guess the bike? So that's where it started off. So biking has always been a part of my being as such.
Right.
And but as you know, when you start off on your journey and then slowly and steadily you get busy with paying the bills.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it happened to me as well. And then I was out of India for a couple of years. I came back to India.
Right.
And again, just setting up my companies, it took a while. And then COVID hit. Right. And as you know, everybody, once the COVID was probably taken care of, the new term was invented out there called revenge tourism. So everybody is out there biking or riding or just going to places that they wanted to go because we've been locked up inside our homes for such a long time. And in that time, I told my wife that, hey, you know what, I need to get myself a bike.
Right.
So I'm not going to be naming the manufacturers, but I did test out a lot of bikes. And I wanted to have a smaller bike just to commute a little bit and, just run around with it.
Right.
So the bike that I actually ended up buying was the Kawasaki Versys 1000.
Right.
And I shortlisted another bike, and the bike was standing there, and Kritika just told me, hey, why don't you try that bike? I said, oh, it's a big bike, it's a leader bike. I sat on the bike, I kid you not, I just probably went 20 meters. And in 20 meters, Kritika was sitting behind me. I said, this is the bike.
Wow.
Okay, and that's how I bought that bike, and the rest is history. And
I think Nilesh, this transpires in most things in life, where you sit in the so-called pilot's cockpit,
yes,
or the driver's seat, and instantly this is for me.
Spot on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, who or did you have a mentor in this line that inspired WingmanX?
So I think it's a very interesting question. So for a biker, there are lots of mentors, and I've done a lot of biking on the CBZ prior to this. I'd say my biggest mentor has been the biking community itself.
Oh, the entire community.
Yes, yeah, because it's made up of such fantastic individuals who will always give you advice,
right?
Who will always tell you, will correct you if you are, going beyond what you are doing,
right?
And I have always felt that, you ride your ride. So that's something that is seeped into me, is that you don't try to catch up someone, you don't, slow down unnecessarily. But the community has been the greatest mentor. I've met some fantastic people out here who actually held my hand and, introduced me to other biking groups.
Right.
And when I saw these biking groups, I said, hey, why not get these groups on WingmanX? Cool. Because otherwise also you're communicating either which ways on WhatsApp or something.
Right.
On WingmanX, at least the communication will be a little bit more structured. Right. So, yeah.
Right.
So the community is my mentor.
The thrill of a bike, I would imagine, far outweighs that of sitting behind a computer.
Right.
At least.
So I'll then tell you what happens when you bike.
Right.
Okay. So I'll try to answer that question using that. Is that when you turn on the engine,
Right.
okay, and you are on the road, okay, and I like driving also, but when you're on the road, I think you can feel everything around you.
Right.
You can smell things that you would not otherwise smell in a car.
Right.
Okay. You genuinely get tired when you stop. You're talking to your friends, on just a cup of chai.
Right.
You get to hear about topics and people that you would never ever encounter in your normal.
Right.
So I remember on one of the rides, I met somebody who's actually working for NASA, but we don't even know that these kind of people exist out here. And then he told me his experiences of how he takes his telescopes inside and all. It's fascinating.
Right.
So what got me into biking was...
Which telescopes into NASA?
No, into jungles.
No, the jungle.
Record amazing things.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And then there is, so you meet a diverse set of people, right? I mean, if I'm in IT, I'm just going out with my friends who are from IT. Then you will probably talk about code and the innovations. But out here, sky's the limit. You don't know whom you're meeting next.
I think you hit the nail on the head. And it's probably similar to a great actor.
Yeah.
Loving Broadway.
Yeah.
Because of audience response. Rather than an actor, you feel it right. Is in the film.
Yes.
You know, when you do your second take and third take and fourth take.
Yes.
But the thrill of a live audience, I think outweighs it all.
Absolutely.
And I think this is your greatest analogy.
It is like meditation. When you are on the bike, it's just you and the bike.
Right.
And you are in the moment. And I'd just like to say that how important it is when you're riding a bike.
Right.
Is you are nowhere else. You are not in the future. You are not behind you. You are where you are supposed to be.
Right.
And I think that is something, it actually frees you so much.
Right.
Because it's, for a lack of better word, can I say it's like a drug?
Yes. Yes. But when you use this beautiful line, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Nilesh, knowing you for over a decade, it seems to me now that you are where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I love where I am right now.
Yeah. Which is or do you have a favorite pathway or a road or a particular destination that you favor more than the others?
Yeah, so my schedule as an entrepreneur doesn't permit me to go on very long rides.
Right.
However, you will always find me riding on every Sunday morning.
Right.
So when people are
Come what may.
Come what may.
Right.
I
And what time do you normally start your rides?
start at 5:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Yes. So I have to get up at 4:30, just get my kit on and all that.
Right.
And then we are out.
Right.
So I usually do what we call the Bhairavnath run.
Right.
So Bhairavnath is a nice little place, just when the Kambadki Ghat starts.
Right.
It's at the bottom of it.
Huh.
And you get some fantastic misal pav. So if they are going to make money, give me some credit, please. Yeah. So you get some fantastic misal pav out there.
Right.
We call it Bhairavnath run, and we figure out different ways of going to that place. And it's something that also allows me to get back home, pretty early, so like 10 o'clock, so that I...
Oh, typically so it's about like a 5 hour ride.
Yeah, it's a 4-5 hour, tops 5 hours ride. Right. And you sit out there again, friends, other bikers.
And along the pathway, you have great stretches of absolutely even road without any potholes.
Used to be. But we try to do what we do. So we got to ride. So,
But please tell me, I mean, when you're talking about bikes,
Yeah.
one small bend in the road can be your end.
yeah.
How do you look at roads with potholes? Or let me rephrase the question. The fear that you might encounter a ditch or a pothole that might throw you off balance. How does that play with your mind? So especially on newer roads.
Yeah, so it's a question of, so I always incorporate something called as defensive riding, right? So if I don't know what is coming,
And for appreciate what is defensive riding?
so defensive riding is, not, if there's something that is coming and you don't know what is coming, for example, a blind corner, right? You always expect that there is something that will basically catch you off guard.
Anticipate.
I have a reel on Instagram. Okay, I think it's got about 103 million views now.
Right.
That reel actually shows a good example. It's a good example of what defensive riding is, because I was taking a blind corner,
Right.
and there was a truck parked right in the middle of the corner. And had I not been practicing defensive riding, I would have straight one as slammed it. So yeah. So, and of course, my friends and my group, we have something called as Cardo. It's a communication device,
Right.
which helps you communicate with each other. So if I see something, then everybody on the group, it's like a mesh technology.
Fantastic.
Get connected, and we just call out. And of course, there are hand signals that you keep driving everyone. Yeah.
In these several rides that you've undertaken, is there any accident or any untoward mishap that has occurred?
Touchwood, no. The only untoward mishap, if you can call it that, is that on a ride which we were supposed to go through a tiger project,
Right.
and we left at 3 a.m. in the morning because we wanted to reach before dark,
Right.
for obvious reasons.
Correct.
You don't want to be fooled.
Correct.
So one of my friend's bike got punctured.
Oh.
And that set us back by 3.5 hours.
Oh, I see.
But I think that was also a good example of how the biking brotherhood comes in, because it was right in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Couple of phone calls, and we literally got a Superbike tires, because those tires are not found everywhere.
Right.
Got the Superbike tires. That the dealer called up another person who's a mechanic. He was going out. He stayed back for us, fitted that tire, and then we were on the journey.
What you're saying is like the typical car tire. The punctures cannot be fixed. The
Tire beyond, it was beyond always fixed. So so we had to buy a new tire,
Right.
And so that's where the brotherhood comes in. So people who are not on the ride went out of their way to actually make sure that our ride continued.
Right. And this is one of the cases where a spare tire would have come in handy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
How do you balance your responsibilities, being a founder, with obviously your responsibilities, in the IT firm, in the IT world?
Yeah, it's always a challenge balancing responsibilities, but fortunately, what I'm doing now is a passion,
Right.
And I think my family understands it very well.
Right.
As you know, my son is also into racing.
Absolutely.
So it kind of goes in the family. So it's no longer where is he going, because the speed is a part of the DNA apparently.
Correct.
So and my wife, we've done a lot of biking together when we were just going around.
Good.
So
Yeah.
for me personally, it's not a big challenge. However, as I said, my Sunday rides, because the reason why I get up at 4:30 in the morning is because I can still come back at 10 o'clock and spend the time with the family. So
But it's nice. It's nice when you talk of your son getting riding, because when Kian is a few years older, you'll say, I have a really fast son.
oh yeah, I mean he's already fast. So yeah, yes.
Okay. Nilesh, what are the safety measures that you would advocate for drivers or riders to take?
So, I mean, I think safety comes first. I mean, or at the end of the day, no matter how much fun you're having,
Right.
you want to go back to your family,
Right.
preferably in one piece. So, safety trumps everything else.
Right.
So, I would say that make sure that when you go out on a ride, A is that you've got your complete safety gear. Don't compromise on the gear, because eventually,
And what, besides the helmet, what does safety gear comprise of?
so it comprises of your jackets, your
Right.
gloves, your pants.
Padded knees and...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the level, high level paddings, and of course, shoes also. Shoes are very, very important, because shoes is something that I found in one of my rides. A fellow rider actually would have lost his foot had it not been for a very good shoe. And don't go with canvas shoes is all I'm saying. Is because A is that you don't have grip, and B is that if you're going to scrape something, shoes going to be just like, it's gone.
Yeah.
So preferably go with shoes from good brands, and shoes that have got a firm sole, because the sole doesn't have to bend if something, God forbid, something happens.
Yes.
So yes. And I think one more important thing is that listen to what advice people are giving you. Don't turn it away that, by saying that this guy is like just trying to be a little this. Biking community always helps and supports you.
Right.
So if somebody's coming up to you with certain words of wisdom,
Right.
take it at the face value, and it'll only make you safer and a better biker.
Nilesh, what do you see in terms of growth for WingmanX over the next 5 years?
So, Karl, when we started off, when we launched it on the 28th or 29th of March this year,
Right.
Okay, we never thought that, I'd be sitting here in November,
Right.
and I would have had 10,000 downloads,
Wow.
which basically gives a lot of validation to the fact that an app like this was needed, and people are embracing it. The future obviously is to make the app accessible to all, which it is right now.
Right.
You would be surprised that we've got riders who are downloading and using this app from across India. As we speak, yeah. I mean, and it is amazing to see, even if one person uses the app, sometimes I feel that it's great. But there are so many people using this app. There are like tens of rides that have been created by different super biking groups and even normal biking groups
Right.
on the app. So the future is obviously to make sure that this app is accessible to everyone,
Right.
and to listen to what the community is saying, and then keep adding features as and when we start, exploring.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful. So, are there any upcoming events that you would wish to share?
Oh yes, I think you would be seeing us in Goa next month for IBW.
Wow.
That's something that has really kicked me up, because I've launched it this year, and then in the same year we are going to one of the biggest biking events. So we would be in December of this.
And you have a stall there?
We've got a very big stall out there in the center of in the center in house or whatever they call it.
Right.
And so my team is going to be there,
Right.
So you'll be able to talk to us and understand what the app is about. We'll be running a lot of contests on the stall, so if you are a biker, please do come there.
As it's on the spot content.
On the spot contest, we'll be running some contests even before the event starts, so it's going to be exciting.
Right.
And we are bringing one of the best superbiking schools to India in Feb. I think that's an announcement that I'll make very soon.
Okay.
But that's a big one. People would not be expecting that. But we are bringing one of the biggest superbiking schools to India.
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful.
And any collaborations that have helped take you to where you are?
We've collaborated with a couple of garages. We've collaborated with a couple of accessory shops. So what we are trying to do out here is that instead of, if you are a new rider in a new city, you really don't know where to go. So collaborations with groups, collaborations with verified mechanics, so you know where to go. And especially when you see the WingmanX verified tag around these shops, you know that these people have been verified by WingmanX. And in the future, we are also planning to collaborate with hotels and mechanics across the on the road, because at times when we spoke about SOS, I think that's a very important collaboration, and the WingmanX name, I'll just try to bring that together.
Right.
So we got a feature on WingmanX called Wingman.
Right.
So you opt to be a wingman.
Right.
So when you are a wingman, what happens is, if there's a fellow rider in the city,
Right.
and God forbid if the rider is experiencing something that needs your assistance,
Right. As you
yes, you'll be one of the people that the rider will reach out to.
Oh, I see.
So that's why you are the wingman, even though you're not on the ride.
Right.
So that's the kind of collaborations, both branded collaborations as well as riding collaborations. All these come together. So it's a platform where everything is eventually going to merge together.
What is the one piece of advice you'd give to any budding entrepreneur?
I think stay true to your vision. Right. You take some time out and understand what your vision is.
Right.
And once you know where you want to go,
Right.
okay, stay true to it. Because I think if your vision gets diluted, then no matter where you reach, okay, you will not feel as if you have actually done what you set out to do.
Great.
So I think staying true to your vision, for me personally, is a very important thing.
How do you stay motivated in this extremely competitive market?
I think I am always listening to what the market is telling. That's one of the things that I've always, and it's been a while now, it's 25 years of being, an entrepreneur. That's one thing that you learn, is that you always keep your ear to the ground.
Correct.
And any rider, even if it's one rider who comes up to me and says that, hey, you know what, WingmanX has actually given me a great experience, that's all the motivation I need. One person coming up to me and saying WingmanX did it, that's all the motivation I need. Thank you.
So finally, if you have to sum up WingmanX, what does it stand for in its essence?
WingmanX is, I see it as a hub, a platform, a community, an app where riders, bikers from different communities are using all the services that we are offering, and it's in a very secure and trusted environment. That's my final vision for WingmanX. I want to see a lot of bikes on the road which are there because somehow somebody's created a ride on WingmanX and they've joined it. So that's my vision. I just want people to start enjoying their motorcycles. So as I said, for riders, life is not around the corner. Life is the corner.
Fascinating. And folks, for all of you listening, whenever somebody now tells you you've reached the end of the road, we've learned from Nilesh that is just a bend.
Yeah, so
Definitely isn't the end. And on that note, Nilesh, absolutely fascinating.
Thanks, Scott. Absolutely.
And, learning more and more about WingmanX.
Thank you so much for having me, Karl. Thanks.
Always. Cheers.